This Sunday meltdown by Donald Trump is something else. Take a look at what he's currently posting over and over again. I'm just going to show you a few of these posts on his social media platform. He writes, "There's something wrong with Kamala. I just don't know what it is, but there is something missing, and everyone knows it!" Exclamation point. And you know when he goes and tries to post religious imagery and tries to appropriate that after living the life that he has, you know something's up. Here's what he writes as well. "Saint Michael, the archangel, defend us in battle. Be our defense against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke you, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl about the world, seeking the reign of souls. Amen." I mean, he's kind of talking about projection here, isn't it? And again, this is the type of stuff that cult leaders do. And again, Donald Trump's going around cursing in churches. Donald Trump, he buried his first wife in the back lot of Bedminster. I could go on and on there. Here he posts this. Doge, it's him and Elon Musk, and D-O-G-E, it's Elon Musk writing Doge, like that cryptocurrency that's now down about 80% since 2021, and lots of people lost a ton of money, and it's this weird AI image, Department of Government Efficiency, Doge. Like the Dogecoin, the Trump media stock down 70% as well, so it seems that's not exactly how I would want your 401ks to be run. I mean, if your 401k was Trump Media, it'd be down 80% right now. It'd be bigger than the Great Depression right now. But that's how Donald Trump runs things. Donald Trump then posts, "CNN will not put on a Republican conservative, nor will MSDNC, but Fox is constantly putting on liberal Democrats to counter previous guests from the right, thereby nullifying any message they may happen to give. The fake news is already unfair enough to Republicans. We don't need from Fox also." I don't know what networks you're watching, but they're all controlled by the right wing at this point, and they're all slanted in favor of Donald Trump, and they're either sane washing him or outright propaganda. Here he posts, "I seldom watch low-rated Bill Maher." By the way, this was post. There's like 15 others this morning. I'm not going to show you because you get the point. But again, this is madness. Here's his post. "I seldom watch low-rated Bill Maher, but when I do, I marvel at the fake laughter on the show. It sounds like a bad laugh machine. It's so obnoxious and disgusting, just like him. Always, no matter what is said. Real Republicans hate it when Fox puts Crazy Bill on far too often to show that the left agrees with us. Fox ought to get smart and not use losers like this. Also, they shouldn't allow negative ads." Saying Fox should not allow negative ads about him. Just take a look at what's going on in the country right now. As Brian Heath from Salt Lake City posts, just a 20-minute bike ride around the neighborhood in Salt Lake City, and you see Harris Wall signs everywhere there. You're also starting to see a lot of signs there, Latter-day Saints for Harris Walls, as well as Harris Walls is reaching out to different constituencies and different groups. Here in Florida's 11th Congressional District, which includes Mount Dora, every day we're seeing across Florida these kind of spontaneous groups of people joining together with Harris Walls sign, parades, marches, whatever you want to call them. But there's a buzz there as well. Now, you know I love to geek out on the data. And this is the stuff, this is the bread and butter of MeidasTouch, right? When we bring on Simon Rosenberg and Tom Bonnier and our data geeks here, where we're actually analyzing the types of voting behaviors, early votes, who's requesting absentee ballots. You know, that's how we knew there wasn't going to be a red wave when everyone was saying that. But take a look right here, Allegheny County, which is home to Pittsburgh. is leading the entire state of Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, with mail absentee requests at 177,000. Out of those, 126,000 are from Democrats and 34,000 are from Republicans. A huge firewall could be building right there in Allegheny. And then it says, check out the vote tracker right there. Also, Vice President Kamala Harris is now on the front cover of The New Yorker, the edition that's coming out October 7th, where The New Yorker is formally endorsing her. What a wonderful picture they have there. Speaking of endorsements, Jeff Flake, the former Republican senator of Arizona and recently finished his ambassadorship to Turkey, put out the following statement strongly endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Walz. Jeff Flake says, I'm a conservative Republican who had the honor to serve my home state of Arizona in the United States House of Representatives and Senate for nearly 2 decades. I believe that America is a great country. I believe that our best days lie ahead. I want to support a candidate for president who believes the same. I believe that we don't have to agree on every issue or policy, but that we should use the political process created by our founders to debate and persuade, not disparage and demonize. I want to support a candidate who understands that political opponents are our fellow citizens, the loyal opposition as our parties once knew each other, not the enemy. Having spent the past 3 years overseas as a U.S. ambassador, I've seen up close that we have very real enemies abroad. We also have vital and indispensable allies. I want to support a presidential candidate who understands and appreciates the difference. I want to support a presidential candidate who understands and appreciates the difference. I believe in our constitutional system and in the rule of law, and I want to support a candidate who respects the will of the voters and would never attempt to use the powers of the presidency to overturn an election after having been turned out by the voters. Finally, I want to support a presidential candidate who seeks to unite our country rather than one who divides us, one who represents the ideals of a new generation of leadership based not on grievance of the past, but hope for the future. For all of these reasons, I'll be supporting Kamala Harris for president and Tim Walz for vice president. I've served with Kamala in the U.S. Senate. I've also served with Tim in the House of Representatives. I know them. I know firsthand of their fine character and love of the country. I would encourage all Republicans who feel this way to do the same. After all, in times like these, there's nothing more conservative than putting country over party right there. And here's the video statement that he just put out. Let's play it.
I'm a conservative Republican who had the honor to serve my home state of Arizona in the United States House of Representatives and in the Senate for nearly 2 decades. I believe that America is a great country. I believe that our best days lie ahead. I want to support a candidate for president who believes the same. I believe that we don't have to agree on every issue or policy, but that we should use the political process created by our founders to debate and to persuade, not disparage or demonize. I want to support a candidate who understands that political opponents are our fellow citizens, the loyal opposition as our parties once knew each other, not the enemy. Having spent the past 3 years overseas as a United States ambassador, I've seen up close that we have very real enemies abroad. We also have vital and indispensable allies. I want to support a presidential candidate who understands and appreciates the difference. I believe in our constitutional system and in the rule of law, and I want to support a candidate who respects the will of the voters and would never attempt to use the powers of the presidency to overturn an election after having been turned out by the voters. Finally, I want to support a presidential candidate who seeks to unite our country rather than one who divides us. One who represents the ideals of a new generation of leadership based not on grievances of the past, but hope for the future. For all of these reasons, I'll be supporting Kamala Harris for president and Tim Walz for vice president. I've served with Kamala in the United States Senate. I've also served with Tim in the United States House of Representatives. I know them. I know firsthand of their fine character and their love of country. I would encourage all Republicans who feel this way to do the same. After all, in times like these, there is nothing more conservative than putting country over party.
Also, this is an interesting one. At a stop at Primanti Bros near Pittsburgh, you had over here Governor Walz and Vice President Kamala Harris getting a very warm welcome there. They wouldn't even let at this establishment J.D. Vance show up. Here, watch what happened when Governor Walz and Vice President Kamala Harris showed up. Here, play this clip.
85 years between the three of us teaching. 85 years. I taught the both. Nice to meet you, sir. Oh, amen. It's noble work. Yeah, proud to do it.
Thank you.
Yay!
How are you? Nice to meet you. Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign reminded everybody about what went down a year ago to this day when Donald Trump debated then candidate Biden, now President Biden, when he was asked if he will condemn white supremacists. Remember what Donald Trump said? This is exactly 4 years to the day. Let's play it.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared to specifically
do it?
Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing. This is a left-wing problem.
After that debate, this has not been widely reported, but as a MeidasTouch viewer, you know that we've reported about it here. You have Enrique Tarrio, the leader of the actual Proud Boys, who's now in jail for potentially the rest of his life for his involvement in the insurrection and leading the insurrection, was invited to the White House. In fact, up to the residential area where Donald Trump lived in 2020. Here we can see right here, this is Enrique Tarrio's post from December of 2020. Last minute invite to an undisclosed location. Wow, in awe, hashtag Trump 2020. This was leading up to the insurrection. Then here he is in the residential area. Never thought I'd be here. And again, this doesn't get reported really anywhere else. Even though Meet the Press asked Donald Trump this question, it is kind of sane-washed it after he said it. But from 2020, he went from Proud Boy stand back to stand by. And then when he was asked on Meet the Press if he would pardon Enrique Tarrio, he said that he was going to look into doing that.
Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio was sentenced to 22 years in jail. Now that you know what the sentence is, 22 years in jail, will you give him a pardon? Will you give other Proud Boys a pardon?
I don't know him. I never met him. I never heard of him until I started reading this
Will
stuff.
you pardon him?
But I want to tell you, he and other people have been treated horribly.
Will you pardon him?
In Minneapolis, I'd certainly look at it. I'd look at that, and I'd look at all the other people that have suffered, the J6 people.
And then, of course, at all of Donald Trump's recent speeches, he's been yelling at President Biden to release the January 6th insurrectionists, who Donald Trump refers to as hostages. And he goes, release the hostages, Joe. Play the clip.
What they've done, and they ought to, you know what they ought to do? They ought to release the J6 hostages. They've suffered enough. They ought to release them. I call them hostages. Some people call them prisoners. I call them hostages. Release the J6 hostages, Joe. Release them, Joe. You can do it real easy, Joe. This guy, what he's done to people.
So there you have it, folks. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you're getting rested. I hope we're ready to go together. Thanks for watching.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.